To go forth into life is to live a life of a semi-acceptance. Each day, you will awake. Each moment, you will, and it's a growing moment. You might accept it by denying it, and yet that is still acceptance. It's acceptance with limitation. Life is about limitless. There is no limits to life. There's just the thought of this limitation of what you want to experience and what you want to have in your life. And if you're limitless, then there's probably experiences in life, means and lessons that you won't understand unless you become within a temporary limitation. Because it's only ever temporary. Because you are eternal and you last forever because you exist now. And being that, you can do and look like anything. If you have self-love, then it doesn't matter what another can empower you of. Because it's all about how you can empower yourself. Yes, there's God and there's God's will. And yet, if you don't empower yourself with God or God's will, it's not the point that it exists or it doesn't exist. It means you empower yourself with something else. Be in alignment with God and God's will. It's still a means of empowerment, a means of recognizing and accepting that you are powerful and you have the choice to choose how you empower by embodying that empower, by being that. And that's how you empower yourself, is by being what you want. Housing, holding, being that space. And most who say Zen-like means in life is holding a space to where there's so much room for everything to move around, it doesn't really make a difference of what happens. Because there's space for you to move around and still fluidly grab on to whatever and be holding on to whatever the concept. Because if you think about it, a 3-foot tunnel, no matter how you maneuver the object you want to go through that 3-foot tunnel, if it is 4 feet all the way around, no matter what way you angle it, it's never going to go in through that tunnel of a 3 feet. So by having more than 3 feet, you are still able to hold on and being that Zen-like state. So everything doesn't affect you the same way because you're still holding on to being what it is that you are holding on to being. Because there's room and there's space. And it's in a sense, about building a building, about building a place. Yet it's in your mind's eye and your heart. And yet it's about the belief in it. And it's about all that you're putting towards it is building it. It is becoming it. It's somehow you're becoming it. It's not that it's being built somewhere else. It's you. And that might be a very graphic way of explaining a thought. Yet it's just your thought. It's your thoughts. And so when you put it very simply into where your thoughts are words, then each thought that you're thinking and wording upon that self is that from that space that you built. To be able to hold to that, whatever it is, something that you enjoy, something that you feel that is fearful, it's still the same thing. It's still the same concept. That's why nothing matters about it being good or bad. whence they are enacting upon the same sense of what brings somebody enjoyment of itself, of being that space and being that Zen likeness. They just did it and made the space be whatever it is. So it's really about empowering yourself. And when you empower yourself, you're potentially going to empower the rest of life, considering unless you're going to be the farmer and everything like that, and do everything for yourself, which would really actually mean be the planet that you're on, be the food that you grow, be the soil that you grow the food in. So really, you can never do it by yourself. There's no way, shape, and form that you, in this existence at least, can do it by yourself. Sure, there are points out there in life that you potentially may be able to go to, and you will be the deciding factor of everything because you're able to be at such a degree of being responsible for that, of realizing your self-worth and what you can embody and what you can be. And so when you can be anything, then you can be anything. There's no limitation if you can be being anything. So find your means and let it be empowering. Because if it's disempowering in some way, then are you really being true to your natural means in life? Or to you? Of any of the sense of itself? When you don't love yourself? Because you can accept somebody else's judgment, interpret that, break it down how you want to, and yet their judgment came after you. Be it that it's about you, so it potentially comes after you because you exist first. Unless you're grandfathered into the other perspective that it can come through. Yet, when you don't allow that judgment to become your judgment, and it's just a thought that life can be like, and you being who you are, there's not a difference of anything other than you being your self-love and you being that, choosing to be what you want to be will be the deciding factor in how life can be together. So love yourself. Love something about you. Even if it's a small step, it's still a step towards that. Within the step towards that, then it is that. Eventually, if you keep taking those steps. Sometimes it's hard work, and sometimes it's challenging. Usually it's hard work, and usually it can be challenging. If it's not something you've already taken the hard work for to make it easy. Because that's the only way you can make anything easy is if you've already done the hard work.